Hey guys, welcome back to the Gather podcast. I'm excited to be here with you today, and I'm looking forward to talking to my friend Diann, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her life and how she finds strength in God through the ups and downs. So Diann, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a mother of 4 sons and a grandmother of 3 girls and a boy, so I got the girls. So two are grown, well actually 3 are grown, and then I have this little one that's just turned 4, and she's my delight, my little Emmy. I love her so much.
I get to see lots of pictures of Emmy. Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's my doll, she's my girl.
And where do they all live? So they're all over the place, aren't they?
My son Keith lives, he just moved recently. It's quite distance away anyway, out in a rural area. Jim lives in Arizona. He's a record producer, so on. Nick lives in Florida, and he just got himself a condo, so he's so proud that he's bought himself a little place to live. And Bob lives 7 minutes from my house, so that's great.
That's good. You get to see them. That's good when they're close.
I do.
So I know when you were a young mom, you became a single mom. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, I got married very young because I was pregnant. I had to drop out of high school, and my parents insisted that we get married, so we got married. I had my son, and then I was pregnant with my second one, and my ex-husband decided to go to Florida, and what he told me is when I get down there and get settled, I'll come and I'll have you come with the kids. And when he got down there, he called me and told me they didn't want to be married and didn't want children.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. You must have felt so vulnerable at that point.
Well, you know, what am I going to do? I have a year-old baby, and then I'm pregnant, and my parents had to take me in because they had no place to go. And I lived there with my parents. I had the baby, and then after I had the baby, I went to work, and I saved the money up and got a divorce because I knew he wasn't coming back and he wasn't going to do anything.
He abandoned you, yeah.
And then after I got the divorce, I quit my job, and I went to school full-time in the evening to get my high school diploma, and then I went on, and I remember thinking, you know, what am I going to do? You know, what would be a good job that would be able to support my family? And I didn't think of it, but I think God gave me the idea to be a nurse, because there are always sick people.
Yes, truth.
And that's how I figured, well, you know.
Well, and you like taking care of people.
And I do like taking care of people. So I went to school, nursing school, and that was a struggle because I had to drop out because my babysitters kept quitting. I had 3 babysitters in 4 months. So then my mom finally stepped up and said, you know, I want you to go back to school and finish, and I'll watch the kids. So I did. I went back.
But that relationship was sometimes challenging
very,
too.
very volatile.
And so you had to manage that. And
oh yeah. My mother was mentally ill, so it was difficult to deal with her.
So through all of that, I just don't see bitterness. I see hope and strength and joy. And so what point?
That's the Lord.
What was the pivotal point, though? Was it then that you came to the Lord, or was it later?
It was later. You know, my kids were, I had divorced my first husband, and then my second husband I actually went to high school and junior high with, and he's cute, but we never dated or anything. And then I went out with the ladies that I graduated from nursing school. We went to Cloverleaf Bar, and we were out for the evening. We were going to go see a movie, and he was in the bar, and they were bugging me, go up and play, you know, a song or something. So I did, and he walked up to me and, you know, started to talk to me, and he asked me for my phone number. And I gave it to him, and I thought, well, he'll never call because he knows I have kids. You know, usually men don't want divorced women. If they do, it's not nice. So, but he did call, and we did go out. And after 9 months, we got married.
That's amazing.
It
He's
is
a great
amazing.
dad to your kids.
And I
you
had
guys,
prayed,
yeah.
even though I wasn't a Christian at the time, I had prayed to God and asked him to send me someone, you know, because it's difficult for a single mom with 2 children, you know, and I lived in a rented house, and I had a babysitter, but, you know, it's hard. It's very hard. And I wasn't getting any child support either.
And so then as your kids got older and
Well, when we got married, Jerry, you know, we ended up, I think we were in the townhouse for a couple of years, and then we bought a house, and my kids, you know, said to me, "Are we rich?" And I said, "No, we're just normal." Because they thought that we were rich because they never had anything. They didn't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
And he decided that he wanted to adopt the kids. And so we went through the adoption. I had to get my ex-husband's approval, and that was difficult.
So how powerful, like now that you're a Christian, when you look at your story, I think of like Ruth with kinsman redeemer, and that Boaz came in, and that just that picture of Jesus being our redeemer, and then also, you know, adoption, and just your kid's story of adoption and being put into a family, and he says that he puts the lonely in families.
Yep, and then after I had I did go back to school and get my registered nurse's license, and my husband was a Vietnam War veteran, and he was exposed to Agent Orange, and he got sick, and he had 3 strokes and ended up in a nursing home, and he was there for almost 5 years. That was tough. That was very hard on me and the kids, you know. The older ones were gone, but the 2 younger ones are still at home, and they took it real hard. And then he did pass away, and that was hard too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very hard.
And at some point in between there was a moment that you came to the Lord too, because I know that happened.
Right after I got married to Jerry, my sister came to me. We were still living in townhouses, and she told me about Frank Majewski and how he had this Friday night meeting at 12 and Hoover at St. Sylvester's, and they have a building behind the church. It was like a meeting area. And I went there, I took my mom and my kids, and that's when I came to know the Lord. And my mother got saved too, which was great. And then after he went into the nursing home, I sold my home and bought a house in Warren. And I remembered when I was at the Net that I came here at Faith, and it was Stations of the Cross. It was a Good Friday, I remember. My sister and I came, and I thought, what a nice place. What a nice church, and everybody was so nice and friendly, and I really liked it here, but I was committed to another church at the time, and I didn't want to make that change. So after I moved to Warren, I thought, maybe I'm going to go there.
I just see like God's hand directing you all the way through, providing, and
So then I came here, and the first time I walked in the door, everybody was so nice and so friendly, and I felt so at home, and I thought, wow, this is where I belong. This is my church.
So we met after you had a break-in, which was very scary. So I want you to tell us that story. But we were meeting to pray together and just see how you were and if we needed to refer you to more counseling for trauma, post-traumatic stress. But I was so amazed at just the strength, not that you weren't scared and you had some insomnia and things like that, but just the relationship you had with the Lord. But tell us a little bit about the break-in and kind of what happened.
I was in the bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I guess they had many break-ins I wasn't aware of around my neighborhood. And there was a young man, he was going around, casing the area to see young people that live alone, elderly couple, that kind of stuff. And they had checked all my windows, and there was one window in my family room I could never get the hook in. That's the window they got in through, and they came in, and I was sleeping in bed with my cat, and they said he came in the room and shined the light in my eyes and woke me up, and scared me, of course, and he said, I want your debit card, and I want you to give me the number, and if you don't, I'm going to kill your cat. And
how terrifying.
And then I gave him the number, and then he says, "Oh, that you're lying. That's not the real number," because it was 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, "Oh, yeah, it's not the real number." I said, "Yeah, it is a real number. You know, why would I lie?"
Right.
So he did tie me up behind my back and my feet, and
Zip ties, right? Like he was. Oh.
yeah, really tight. And he ransacked my whole house, went through all my drawers, threw my clothes all over, my closet, everything, stole all my jewelry, took my phones, and then they went out the same door that they came in. Well, in the meantime, I was sweating under those covers.
But you were also praying.
Well, when he was in the midst
Yeah.
of it all, I started praying the Our Father, and he said, "Shut up, shut up." So I didn't say it out loud, but I said it in here.
Right.
God heard me.
Yes.
And when they left, I wasn't sure they were gone, but I was able to get those things off and off my feet, and I was so afraid to go out of that bedroom and if they were still there. So I kind of like tiptoed out, and they were gone. And I ran in the kitchen, and they had taken all my phones. I had a cell phone and a landline, and they took it. But when he was ransacking my bedroom, he knocked the other one on the floor, the landline. So that's how I called the police, and they were there like within minutes.
And this is my favorite part. They were so, you always say it.
So dumb. They took my phone with a GPS on it, and that's how the police were able to find them.
Yeah.
And they caught them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon the same day.
Yeah, well.
And I got everything back.
Foolishness kind
So
of
what did they
in
gain?
every area. Nothing, but they scared you. But thank goodness, you know, I feel like through that all, God was still watching over you. Even
He was. He
you know,
protected me because the one guy had knocked a lady with a shovel down her stairs.
Oh, yeah.
So that could have been me. He could have really hurt me, but he didn't.
Well, I'm glad that you were trusting in God and just taking one
was
step at a
scared to
time
death.
and praying the whole time through it all. Just reminds me of John 16:33. It says, "In this world you're going to encounter much trouble, but I have overcome the world."
That's
So
right.
it's like when we're weak, He's strong. He's with us. So, and so yeah, I feel like through all of that, I kind of expected you to have a lot more symptoms. So when those would come up and you would be afraid or you'd have those memories, what did you do in those times?
Well, you know, I just put my trust in the Lord. I mean, you know, and prayed to Him and asked Him to please take that away. And then in the meantime, I sold my house and I moved. My son said, "That's it, you're
Yeah.
moving." So he wanted
A little
me over
closer
by
to him. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not like you didn't have some fear, but with the fear, you went to God with that fear instead of
Oh,
it, like, yeah. I think sometimes we think that we're going to have no fear, but really the truth is when we have fear, we just need to run to Him and get that strength. So, and more recently, one of the challenges that you've had is your cancer diagnosis too.
Well, back in 2007, I had my thyroid removed. Was it 7? I don't remember. Anyway, I had my thyroid removed, and everything was going good. And I was going to an endocrinologist, and like 3 years into it, he said, "You know, your thyroglobulin level is up, and that's a hormone that your thyroid gives off. I don't have one." Well, cancer takes on the property of whatever organ it's been attached to. So that's what it was. Is the cancer had spread to my lungs. I had 8 little areas, and so I ended up having a biopsy of that. They took one out, and it is thyroid cancer. That was, you know, I went okay with that for a while, but then he wanted me to go. He didn't know what to do. He's a thyroid specialist, not a cancer specialist, and so he said, "Well, I'm going to this place in you know, for a seminar in May," and this was April, and he says, "And I'll find out how to treat your cancer." I thought to myself, I don't think so. So when I went home, I called Carmanis, and I made an appointment and went and seen
A specialist. That makes a lot of
And he's been following me since. And
Yeah.
now it's actually spread to my bone. It's in my spine and in my left hip.
Yeah. And you were just praying to make it to Emmy's birthday.
I just wanted to make to last Christmas.
Last Christmas, and then now you've got Emmy's birthday, and now you get another Christmas, and so we're thankful for every single day.
I got to see her turn 4.
Yeah, those are such good things.
And I got to meet my granddaughter, got married a couple weeks ago. I got to go to her wedding, and the other one got engaged.
So a lot of celebrations that you got to be part of.
Yes, I'm so happy I am.
That's good.
And every day I thank him. I wake up. First thing I say before I even get out of bed is thank you for another day, Lord.
Yeah. And you saw God show up in a really big way, tangibly, because you felt like you were praying and you were telling me about that circumstance. And
yeah, when you go through something like this, you think about, well, what's going to happen when I start to decline? Where am I, who's going to take care of me? And I was praying and asking the Lord, please send somebody, to help me. And he said, I will take care of you.
It's so great when he speaks to us.
I was reading the Bible, and there it was, right in his word.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I will take care of you. I will provide that. So I know I'm going to be okay. When I get to the point where I'm starting to, go down, he'll be there.
He will. He will. And so will God's people, too. We'll be there, too. So
I know. I'm in a wonderful church.
That's good. So, so when I was sick, I had my favorite worship songs, and I called them fight songs.
Yeah.
So what are your songs that you love?
Well, a lot of them come in and out of my brain. And the other day it was God's Child. I'm a child of God.
Child of God, yeah.
I love that one. I love that song of Lauren.
Dangle. Yeah.
I never can pronounce her last name, but it's You Say, and I love that one. I love all her songs. I have her whole CD, and then Reckless Love is another one.
You've always loved that one.
I've always. Every time it plays, I cry. Because, it makes me know what God will go through to bring you back if you lose sight of, so that's a hope.
And that's a lot of prayers that you have for the people you love, too.
Yes.
For sure. And so what about favorite Bible verses?
Gave me that one, too. It is Psalm 8:1. Lord, my Lord, how majestic is you are you in all the world. Oh, I love that.
That is so great.
All
I
the
love
earth.
that.
Oh.
All right, so tell us about best days of your life, some of your best ones. We talked about some of the hardest ones, so tell me some of the best ones.
I think the best days of my life, the very first one comes to mind is the day I got saved. That's above everything.
So what did you feel like when the difference between before and after, is...
I was seeking the Lord my whole life, I think, ever since I was a little girl, but that day when I stood there and asked Jesus to come in my heart, I can't even express how you feel. You feel joy, you feel happiness, you feel love, you feel excitement, and that's how I was like crazy.
Yeah, that's so great. Did you tell people?
I had stickers on my car.
All the stickers. Get all the stickers.
Everything. That's
great.
I was just so excited. Just couldn't believe that this happened.
It's like God did that brand new identity, brand new life. That's so great. Yeah. I love that. So, what do you want for your family and friends when you think about your big hopes for them?
I just want them to remember me as love. I love my family and I love the Lord. And those are the two most important things to me. Everything in my life, those mean more to me than anything. My kids, my grandkids, and the Lord. And the Lord's first.
Absolutely. So on my wall in my house, I have a Bible verse in Psalms. I'm going to forget where it's at, but it's basically, the generations will tell of your mighty works. And I feel like every time I see you, you tell of God's work in your life. You tell me something else God did for you. Like every time I see you, the gratitude that I see that comes from you, like you are going through hard things, but yet you are telling me about what God's doing. I can just tell you what God did this week, and you always do that, which is so beautiful. And then next to that, I have my grandma's picture, and she's holding on to my dad and my aunt's hands. And my grandpa was in World War II at the time, and she was very young as a young mom. And she's got this look on her face, because, you know, nobody smiled back then. They just kind of looked strong. And whenever I feel weak, I think of that picture of my grandma, but I also think of you. Because your strength really, really is found in the Lord. And when I see you, it's like I always tell women, you need to have a woman that's a little ahead of you and a little behind you, and somebody that has walked life. And when I see the ups and downs that you've been through and everything, and the strength that you have and you gain from the Lord, that gives me great encouragement. So thank you for sharing your life with us. So,
thank you for asking me.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. I hope that your day is full with joy and that you were blessed by hearing Diann's story.